What's up, guys? This is Automotive Anonymous, and that's the 2023 Subaru Crosstrek Premium, and you might notice there's something different about it that we're going to get into. It was generously borrowed by Twin Falls Subaru in Southern Idaho, so I'll link the car below. Check them out. And if you guys like my video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. What I do is walk around 0 to 60s and cool car stuff. New content coming out weekly. But let's get right into it. This is the second generation Crosstrek. It started in 2018, and this is the last year of it before the refresh. The base model starts at about $24,000. This is the Premium, which starts at about $25,000. It's the second of the 5 trim levels. And there's a reason that Subaru sells well over 100,000 of these a year in the United States, because that's a great offering. It gets about 28 city, 33 highway with a 16.6 gallon tank. Gets about 550 on the highway if you're going for a family excursion. 152 horse out of the 2-liter. If you have a tow package, they can tow about 1,500 pounds. And you can either go with a CVT, or this one is the preferred trim level because it has the 6-speed manual that you'll see shortly. They're pretty cool. They weigh about 31 to 300 pounds, which is the same as an adult giraffe. It gets 8.7 inches of ground clearance, so it's very capable through the Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive. And then this one specifically has the BRZ wheels on it, which look fantastic. Traditionally, the Premium would get a 225/60/17 with an all-season, but what this bad boy gets is a 225/55, so a little bit less sidewall to make up for the 18-inch wheel. They're about 15 feet long, so similar to a Forester, but about a foot shorter than the Outback. 6 feet wide and about 5.3 feet tall. So it has quite a bit to offer. But let's get into it and out of the wind. To the door panel, you of course get carbon fiber theme around the door handle. Nice big handle. You could probably fit 7 to 8 fingers, depends on the girth of them. And then you have the bottle holder and some snacks. You could put a shampoo, conditioner, and then some soap for your dog down there if you're going to the lake. Speaker sounds decent, but it's not an aftermarket system. It's not the Harman Kardon or anything. There is then nothing on the door sill. Manual controls for the cloth seats, but the orange stitching really looks good on this one. You'll see flat roof, nothing up there for the optional that you could have moonroof. This is where your buttons would be. This is where the fuses are. Hood release down here, ventilation, trip reset. Let's get in though. Let's fire up the 6-speed and show you another surprise with it. You guys hear that? It's missing the catback exhaust because it has a straight pipe. I'll show you that more here. Basic information through the center display. You have the 6.5-inch screen there, and then up top you have a couple more displays that you can see through hitting the info button on the steering wheel. Mostly is related to MPG and miles per hour though. And down here behind the 6-speed you have a 12-volt, 2 USBs, aux. Manual controls are really nice. Hazard lights right there. Fantastic 6-speed. It's easy to use. The engagement point is easy. And then pull up and over to go into reverse. It'll then pop up the rear view camera. You have a manual e-brake, which is a nice feature. If you want to do some silly handbrake slides in the winter, not saying I recommend that. You do have heated seats. You're missing the X mode button there. And then you do have some cup holders with a decent sized center console cubby with the 12-volt hiding away. But let's hop in the back. Let's see how we fit behind ourselves in the Crosstrek. Back seat looks really clean. Carbon fiber theme again. You know you can't go without that. Another 7 to 8 finger handle. And then a pretty decent sized bottle holder. So whatever snacks you want to fit down there, you could probably even fit like a beanie, maybe a dog's leash, whatever you have on your body, on your person. Orange stitching follows. It's a 60-40 split, so it's easy to drop. You do have the all-weather mat protection back there. And then behind yourself, I'm always surprised at how big the Crosstrek is. There's probably 3 inches maybe in front of my knees. It's a pretty good view from back here. But I don't get to be a backseat driver. I don't have a mat pocket. I also don't have an armrest because the middle seat doesn't fold down on this model. And then no ventilation, nothing on the back. That would be on a higher model or a higher trim level, but not on this Crosstrek Premium. Standard are the bars up top. They're good for a couple 100 pounds. The rear end on these look really good, especially in the white. It contrasts the black cladding and the red lights very nicely. This one is not a lift. You have to do that manually, but you do have the button. And then back here, you get around 20 cubic feet of storage with the seats up. If you drop them, it's closer to 55. They're easy to drop from back here if you can reach just a couple feet into it. A little bit of storage behind the wheel wells. Nothing too crazy back here though, just some tie downs really. And then this one has a spare tire in the back. It's a 145/80/17 with your tools. You don't have much room though for extra belongings back here. We're gonna drop it, show you that. A little bit more of the exhaust back there. You can see it's pretty much just a straight pipe. The RZ wheel looks really good. If you want to feel like you're driving something special, you're gonna feel like that in the back of this Crosstrek. Door panel looks really clean, really nice. And I'm gonna say, put your more responsible backseat passenger back here, because that's where the backseat driver goes with the mat pocket. There's a 5-star crash test rating in many categories, so you know safety is a good concern if you're driving a Crosstrek. But if you're the passenger up front, if you're riding shotgun, traditionally named for carrying a shotgun, can you fit one? Door panel's nearly identical to the driver. Of course, you're missing some of the controls. Otherwise, it's comfortable, but you probably don't want a long gun in the front with you. That's not gonna be very comfortable. You do have manual controls. Orange stitching, of course, follows throughout. This one is a 23. That's what they're asking for it. It does have a locking glove box. No outlets or anything in here, but it is adequate size. And let's go around, let's see what's under the hood. Halogen lights, if you want LEDs, you're gonna have to go with the limited for that, which are a very worthwhile upgrade. Pop the hood. There we have it. That's the 2-liter, makes 152 horse, and in the 140s for torque. We have windshield reservoir, coolant reservoir, engine oil fill. Up top is a fantastic design. It makes it so easy, you can do it yourself. You have the oil fill, 0W20. The battery, positive terminal, negative terminal. And then on the passenger side, we have ducting through the grille, goes through the filter, through the throttle body, to the upper intake manifold to go to the horizontally opposed heads of the boxer. You can see where the block is mated down there. You have the alternator, the oil dipstick, and then the serpentine belt with the cover so you don't lose your fingers in the engine bay, because you don't want to be looking for those, especially not by the holiday. It's not going to be fun. What are you thinking? Anyways, there's a lot of room there. You can see the CVT very clearly on this, better than most other models. And there's just a whole lot of room if it ever needed to be worked on. It should be fairly inexpensive, I would think, with how easy everything is to access. But let's drop the hood. And it's time to teleport inside and take it for a drive and get to that 0-60 that you guys are waiting for. Initial driving impressions of the manual Premium Crosstrek. Feels really good. It's easy to drive. The clutch engagement point is well known. The shifter is smooth. Visibility, of course, is fantastic, being a Subaru, where we know that they're all designed, they're all engineered very similarly. We know safety comes as a high priority, even though you're not getting many of those other safety features in the manual, where you lose eyesight and things of that nature. And then the Premium only has so many options to begin with. That exhaust just sounds fantastic though, without the cat back. It just has a straight pipe, as you saw. The manual controls of the climate. They're easy to use. The leather-wrapped wheel feels great in the hand. Armrest is comfortable on the door, as well as on the center console. The shifter's right where you need it to be. Cup holders are out of the way well enough for most people, I would assume. You do lose a little bit of sidewall with these aftermarket BRZ wheels, but it still feels very sporty. You can take corners really well. It's smooth. I will say above 65 with the straight pipe in the back, it does start to drone, but below that, it's not very bad. It's not that noticeable unless you're building RPM. Because it's a manual, you can play musical gears. You can have some fun with it. This is hands down the funnest Crosstrek I have ever driven. I think I'd probably take this over the 2.5 just because it's so good. Subaru knows what they're doing when it comes to manual transmissions. Road noise isn't that bad in this one. I do think the exhaust probably drones it out just a little bit, but Crosstreks, in my experience, they're worse than the Ascent, Outback, and Forester, but they're better than the WRX. They're average. I think for what you're paying, you're not missing out on too much. Easy to drive around town. It's smooth. It still has about 8.7 inches of ground clearance with these tires on it. The wheelbase is short, so it feels agile. It feels like it can do what it needs to do. The stock speakers, they're not, you know, that desirable, but they're not bad. They're okay. I don't think you're going to be listening to that much if you're going to be driving something like this. Plus, you do have the CD player, so you can put, you know, your own jams on and make your own iTunes playlist, like the good old days back when cars were more manual and analog like this one. But let's get to the 0 to 60. Let's see what it can do with the 6-speed. 0 to 60, we're going to do a little bit of a brake rev, but we're not going to be abusive. Traction control is off. Density altitude's 3,400 feet, so the vehicle's down in power about 12%. I'll verbalize the true 0 to 60, and then I'll show the GPS graph after. The bottom left of that will show without the foot of rollout, the way it'd be rated by the magazine. Let's see what I can do. A little bit jerky going into second. You do have to get through 3 gears though to get to 60. And true 0 to 60, that came in at 10.73 seconds. So it's not the fastest Crosstrek I've been in, but it's absolutely the funnest. You can really hear that straight piped catless, or sorry, not catless, but cat backless exhaust. Let's get to our final thoughts. Final thoughts of the 23 Crosstrek Premium with the 6-speed manual is it's hands down the best Crosstrek I've ever driven from a car enthusiast perspective. It's definitely not the fastest, as you just saw with the 0 to 60, but it was a hoot driving around, hooning through the gears. It just makes it so easy to drive. This is what cars used to feel like. And it's getting harder to find ones that don't have all these electronic aids and just let you row through the gears and have fun. Turn off traction control, enjoy it in the winter, enjoy it in the summer. It's good at all things within reason, right? What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments, would you buy the manual? We don't know if there's going to be a manual offered for the next generation Crosstrek coming next year, so get it while you can. You don't want to regret it. But it also has to be right for you and your family. Keep in mind, this one is in the description below if you're interested. Otherwise, if you like my style of review, there's new content coming out every single week. Please consider liking and subscribing, and then let me know what you want to see more of. Until next time, guys, take care. GoPro, stop recording.